Welcome, Clipper fans, to the game tonight. It's going to be a great season. We're going to work hard every night, and let's get it going.
It's a home game for the Clippers, folks, and he was almost drowned out by the booing. But let's forget about that for a minute. How about the matchup, Richard Jefferson, LeBron, and Kawhi?
This is what we're going to see in the postseason. This is what we're going to be watching all year. One of the best defenders of all time going against a great offensive player.
This game lived up in every way to the hype, despite being game one. Here's Anthony Davis getting comfortable in a Laker uniform.
Anthony Davis is going to have to be dominant. Bron and AD are going to have to average 25 apiece without a Laker bench.
Davis scored 25 last night, plus 10 boards. Lakers had a 3-point lead after one, and then Kawhi took over the second quarter.
This is MJ, Kobe Bryant. Like, this is unguardable. You got a guy up in you and a guy on weak side defense so you can't drive. Then you try and deny him. Like, hey, we're not going to let him cut you. And then Anthony Davis isn't there. Anthony Davis has to be there if Danny Green's going to be in a full denial.
Leonard, 7 of 8 in the second quarter, scored 16 points in that period. Clippers up by 8 at halftime. Third quarter, Clippers, no. Lakers going the other way. And Lou Williams doesn't want any part of this.
Business decision. He's seen it too much. We've all seen it. Look at his face. He's like, damn it. Like, come on. Look at it. Look at cheeks flopping. It's okay.
Maybe he was actually saying Shamit, as in Landry Shamit.
Is LeBron James going to have to block a ball? Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
But he's not done.
No.
He's going to take a charge.
That's a charge. That lets you know LeBron James ain't taking a charge in a game one in his life. But look at that. Look at that. Yeah, I said it, Desmond. Yes, LeBron James is going to have to block a ball.
And then, all right, now we go. Danny Green. What a performance from Green last night. You're going to see him knocking down 3 threes from all over the floor.
Danny Green was such a big offseason pickup for him, especially if Caldwell Pope is going to play 27 minutes and have no points. You're going to need more of Danny Green.
Lakers a 3-point lead. They go on a 15-0 run. What a game. Fourth quarter, under 11 to go. Clippers are up 4. They're going to work the ball around. The Lakers are for Dwight Howard and Kawhi playing the defense.
And look, this is the size that everyone's talking about, but this Clipper team is so scrappy. They're so tough. This is why I think the Clippers should be the favorite team in the NBA
And look
this
at
year.
Steve Ballmer's elbow.
Well, look at Van Gundy. Look at how expensive those seats are. Van Gundy's sitting underneath
That's
them.
not Van Gundy.
Gundy's sitting on the floor.
Under 4 minutes to play. Clippers are up 8. Kawhi. He took it over late. Kawhi finished with 30 points. The Clipper bench scores 60. And the Clippers take game one in the battle for LA. 112-102.
A lot of emotions, game one, but I'm just happy we came out and got a victory. We played a great practice the last week. Everybody competing, pushing everybody's limits, and we had some carryover tonight.
Coach, can you just talk about Kawhi's overall debut tonight?
I think you should, you know. No, he was good. He was absolutely wonderful.
It's the first game. You know, obviously it's the NBA is back, and that's what everybody's trying to have the narrative of a rivalry game, and is a huge test. I think both teams are not who they want to be. We have a lot of room to improve. We're a new group that's coming together. We have a new coaching staff. We have a new system. And it's not a rivalry. We're trying to get better every single day.
But it is a rivalry, and there are a lot of reasons, including this. At the ticket window, according to Caesars, the Lakers are first in money wager to win the title. Just behind them are the Clippers. These two teams share an arena, and they share that distinction of being thought of, at least in Vegas, as the two most likely to win the championship. I want to ask you very quickly, we will get to the championship piece. I just want to ask you about the home crowd again, because for those just waking up and joining us, this was a Clipper home game.
Yes.
But it was overwhelmingly a Laker crowd. How significant is that if these teams meet in the playoffs? It would be 7 Laker home games.
You're talking about great teams and great players. So like Kawhi Leonard is used to going on the road. Paul George is used to going on the road and getting wins. Yes, it will be at home, but is this going to be difficult from the stance of like every single time we go out there, there's going to be more Laker fans? And once you get to the postseason, Laker fans typically will be buying more tickets than Clipper fans.
All right, and so the Clippers look, I mean, they look deep and good. They played without Paul George last night. They got 60 off their bench. As far as the Lakers are concerned, they're not nearly as deep, but obviously LeBron and Anthony Davis, and they'll get Kyle Kuzma back. What do they need to do to be a championship team?
Well, they just have to scrap a little bit more. I think the Clippers have that scrap mentality. I think that size wasn't as effective. They had the same amount of offensive rebounds as the Clippers did. It just wasn't as dominant of a performance. Now, this is game one.
Yeah.
No one cares about game one. But at the end of the day, both teams are going to get better. Both teams are going to add huge pieces, Kyle Kuzma and Paul George. So this is a great game one, though.
Look, the Lakers can't afford an injury.
No.
We've talked about that. But if they are healthy, if LeBron and Anthony Davis are healthy when the season ends, I still believe they're the team to beat for the championship. Do you?
Yeah, well, I think in the postseason it's very different because the game is slowed down. There's a few different elements that are different. But I still like that Clippers team. That depth on that bench in a postseason, you're going to need one guy like a Lou Will to come off and just have a game where he's one of the reasons why they win. And I think that depth right now is going to be the difference.
Yeah, there's more pressure on LeBron and AD to carry the load than there will be on Kawhi and Paul George. That's a good point. All right, we'll continue with much more basketball as we continue. Let me get to the NFL now. Jets head coach Adam Gase expressed his displeasure yesterday that Sam Darnold's "I'm seeing ghosts" comment made air during Monday night's Jets loss to the Patriots. Darnold was asked about it during his regular appearance yesterday on the Michael Kay radio show on ESPN New York.
I'm not embarrassed by it. It would have been, nice if it hadn't made the air. But with that being said, it's something that happened, and now I got to address it. And it's kind of one of those things that it is what it is. It really meant that I just wasn't seeing things as clearly as I would have liked to.
Right.
And that's really as simply as I can put it.
And Le'Veon Bell was another who was upset about this. Again, Adam Gase was quite upset about it, and Bell said the NFL screwed Sammy over. There's not one player in the league who's cool with having every sideline conversation broadcasted to millions. You can see the comments that he made there. I want to bring this out here because, look, here's the point that I'm making, and I understand maybe I'm doing this as a fan of the team. I grant that. But I feel like if you are embarrassed in a game as badly as they were embarrassed, it is bad form the following day for the coach to make this big a deal about a comment that his quarterback made on the sideline. I understand they're upset about it.
Greeny.
They can take that up with people, but they have far bigger problems than that.
Greeny, wouldn't you make a big deal out of it so nobody talked about your
Absolutely.
coaching? So
This
nobody
is
talked
deflection.
about, so no one talked about what
Absolutely.
actually happened in prime time? I would for sure be saying, protect Sam at all costs.
Yeah.
It's not right. The NFL is wrong. Please don't go watch that film.
Well, okay.
And that's what is happening. They were outcoached. They were outplayed. And in the end, they were just outclassed.
No question about it. So I'm not falling into that trap. Let's talk about the game itself, and let's talk in particular. Dan Orlovsky on this show last week diagrammed for us, did one of his touchscreens on exactly what New England was going to do defensively to the Jets. Obviously, Adam Gase wasn't watching that day because the Jets seemed to have absolutely no idea what to do.
Well, to be fair to the Jets, it's not like they have made a living out of zero blitzing all season, which is what they did in this game. They took the free safety, they blitzed him also, so they got a lot of pressure on Darnold. But that's something you should be prepared for. You should have plays ready for that. And at no point did they run anything. They didn't run any screens or any tip screens. They didn't run any motion. They did nothing to give Sam Darnold an option. So while I am critical of Sam Darnold for not throwing the ball away or falling down when he thought that there was no play to be made, what else can you ask the man to do if you're not going to give him a play to beat the defense that's being presented?
Nick, I think you, as a quarterback, you still got to protect the ball. You're just letting the ball come out of his hands, just airing throws that he had control of. And this is a problem he had in college. When he was at USC, he led all Power 5 quarterbacks with 22 turnovers. So this thing has followed him from USC to the Jets, and they got to try to fix it, Greedy.
Look, I'm not just blindly defending him. Maybe I'm doing this because I'm hoping that it turns out this way. But this is still a guy who was playing his 16th NFL game and left 2 years of college on the table.
This is why you have to be scared. I believe Sam Darnold quit. And that's not something I say about a lot of football players. When he said he was seeing ghosts, he gave up. It's like when the python gets its prey and it's about to eat and it starts to squeeze it, you know what they do? They just lay limp because they know eventually they are going to get eaten. So after the first quarter, when he throws that pick to Devin McCourty and he's saying he's seeing ghosts, he is just waiting to be eaten. And he's going to be here for these 4 quarters because he has to, but his heart, his mind, his emotions, they were all gone. And they couldn't fix it.
Would you be saying that if it wasn't for the seeing ghost comment and making it to air? Because I've been in games with great quarterbacks that we've played that have been dejected and seemed like they had no option and they had no opportunity and they just wanted to get out of the stadium. They just wanted the game to be over. So I think it's a little unfair to say maybe he quit in that game, but you're not saying he's a quitter.
No, I'm not saying he is a quitter. I'm saying he felt hopeless and helpless in that game. And Adam Gase didn't do anything to bring him out of it.
That's on Gase. Like he feel hopeful or hopeless and helpless because you don't feel like you have a plan or a coach that can compete.
I mean, the other thing is this too, though. If we're going to put Sam Darnold with some of these names that his draft pick says he should be with, there are times that those guys outplay their coaching, and he didn't do that.
Yeah, again, it's his 16th NFL game. He left 2 years of college on the table. He's 22 years old. Bill Belichick has done that to a lot of young quarterbacks. I'm not giving up on him.
A lot of old quarterbacks.
The coach, maybe not. Let's move on, meanwhile. Hurry up, run the hurry up here on some other NFL teams and stories. Let's talk about panic or patience. The Eagles crushed Sunday in a big game in Dallas. Dominique, panic or patience in Philly?
I think they should definitely panic. The NFC is very deep. It's going to be hard for them to make the wild card unless they win their division. Doesn't look like they're in position to win their division. And the secondary is very important. I think people overlook how important having good corners are. They're still getting a good pass rush win rate. However, the passer rating against their quarterbacks is higher than Patrick Mahomes. So all quarterbacks against their quarterback are better than Patrick Mahomes. That's terrible.
Next game, the Bears look terrible against the Saints. RC, is it time for panic or patience in Chicago?
It's time to panic because your window is going to close on how good this defense can be. And we are seeing them trending down as the season continues to go along with Mitchell Trubisky's play. You miss him for 2 games. You have Chase Daniels. They should have let him get as healthy as he possibly could because what we saw Sunday against Teddy Bridgewater and the New Orleans Saints will not win you games.
Browns 2-4 facing New England this week. Neek, panic or patience?
I think it's also time for panic for them because I think it's not necessarily about this season making the playoffs. I think while it's going to be a long shot for them to be able to do that right now, I think it's about the future with Freddie Kitchens. That's the real big answer. Freddie Kitchens and Baker Mayfield, how good are they going to be going forward? Because we thought Mayfield was going to be the quarterback of the future. I think there's question around that right now, and it may be because Freddie Kitchens isn't a great coach, but we don't know the answer.
You're a Cleveland guy, right? You grew up
born and raised.
Yeah, I know.
It pains me to see RC's boys out there playing the way they're playing.
Do you think
those 2 wideouts they got from LSU?
When you see some of the struggles and all that, do you think it is time to panic there? Particularly, you covered their quarterback in college like crazy. What do you think?
I think it's time to panic from the standpoint where the expectations were so high. When you go out and get OBJ, you got Jarvis Landry. Now you got this Heisman-winning quarterback. And now it seems like these guys are more involved with things outside or off the field than on the field. If I think they can bring their concentration in between those white lines, I think they can salvage the season.
We're going to find out what happens. Again, they play New England this week. Life comes at you fast. Let's get up and go. Some NFL moves. San Francisco trading 3rd and 4th round picks to the Broncos for receiver Emmanuel Sanders. RC, you played with him. Do you like the move?
No, this is a huge move. He's a #1 wide receiver, which they don't have. Now you add him to George Kittle, this explosive run game, and a great defense. You have a chance to make a run. And what this shows me is GM John Lynch feels like this team is good enough. So they want to add the pieces now to make a run. Give Jimmy G a true #1 and see if he's worth $137 million.
They're the only unbeaten in the NFC. To college football, Florida State Athletic Director David Coburn dismissed the rumors surrounding the job status of head coach Willie Taggart and the idea that Urban Meyer could be a potential replacement. The wording he chose was fascinating. There was a report in Football Scoop that Florida State would pursue Meyer. And so Coburn told the Tallahassee Democrat, if Taggart were hit by a bus tomorrow, we would not target Coach Meyer, period. I say that with all due respect to Coach Meyer, but we would not target Steve Spurrier either. Paul Feinbaum, I don't know what to make of those comments. What do you make of them?
With all due respect, those are really idiotic comments for a college athletic director. Listen, don't joke about people getting hit by a bus, even a coach who's doing as poorly as Willie Taggart. I'm not suggesting Willie Taggart should be retained, but no one wants anything to happen to him. As far as Urban Meyer, you're dissing one of the best football coaches of all time. He's won 3 national championships. Outside of Saban, he's the best coach of that era. And you want to keep the guy that can't beat anyone versus Urban Meyer?
Let's go to the NBA. Raptors head coach Nick Nurse is the first to use the new coach's challenge, disputing an offensive foul call. Nurse would lose the challenge. The call was upheld. Richard Jefferson, do you like the coach's challenge in the NBA?
Oh, it's awful. It is the worst thing. Listening to people trying to explain how it's going to work, how it can go for you, against you. No one has a clue. I don't know how it works, and I was in the NBA meeting. I was in the meeting, and everybody was like, oh, this is going to be a problem.
All right, let's take a break. Coming up, Zion, his conditioning, is it impacting his ability to stay healthy? The man who drafted him is fired up.